Quick question. What's the largest living thing on planet Earth? Most people say the blue whale. A few guess a giant redwood. They're both wrong. The biggest living organism we've ever found is a fungus. One single fungus buried under a forest in Oregon. It covers almost 4 square miles. It's been alive for something like 2,000 years. And here's the part that stops people cold. You can barely see it. Almost the whole thing lives underground as a web of thin white threads. The mushrooms it pushes up to the surface are just the small, temporary fruit of this enormous hidden creature. And that is the one thing nobody tells you before you try to grow your own. The mushroom you eat isn't really the organism, it's the fruit. The living part is the network hiding underneath. Once that clicks, growing mushrooms at home stops feeling like some mysterious lab experiment and starts feeling like something you can pull off in the corner of a room. I want to walk you through this the way I'd explain it to a friend over dinner, because most beginner guides make it sound either terrifyingly complicated or suspiciously easy, and the real answer lands somewhere in between.
So let me start with a friend of mine. She bought one of those grow kits on a whim, basically a block of stuff in a box, sprayed it with water twice a day like the instructions said. About a week later, little oyster mushrooms started pushing out of the side like something from a nature documentary. She texted me a photo at 7 a.m., genuinely thrilled. That's the part people underestimate. The first time you grow something you can actually eat, it does something to your brain. But here's where I want to slow down, because if you understand what mushrooms actually need, you'll never panic when something looks weird. Mushrooms aren't plants. This sounds obvious, but it changes everything. Plants take in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. Mushrooms do the opposite. They breathe in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, just like you and I do. That single fact is behind half the mistakes beginners make, and we'll come back to it. The life of a mushroom goes like this. You start with spores, basically fungal seeds, though most home growers skip those and use spawn instead. Grain or sawdust already colonized with living mushroom tissue. That tissue is the mycelium, the white thread-like network. It eats through its food source, called the substrate, which is the straw, sawdust, coffee grounds, whatever you're growing on. And only when it has eaten enough and the conditions feel right does it send up the actual mushroom. So the mushroom is not the main character here. The mycelium is. The mushroom is just the part that shows up at the end to make more spores.
For that final step, the fruiting, mushrooms care about 4 things. Humidity, because they're mostly water and dry out fast. Fresh air, because they're exhaling carbon dioxide and will choke on it if the air goes stale. Temperature, which depends on the type. And light, but not the way you'd think. Here's the weird part. Mushrooms don't use light to make food, they use it as a signal. A little light tells the mycelium it's reached open air, a good place to fruit. You don't need a grow lamp. Normal room light or a window that doesn't get direct sun is plenty. Okay, before you buy anything, hear me out, because this is where people waste money. You do not need a fancy setup to start. For your very first grow, get a kit or grab a bag of pre-made spawn for an easy species. And the 2 easiest by a mile are oyster mushrooms and lion's mane. Oysters are forgiving and fast. They grow aggressively and tend to fight off problems on their own. Lion's mane is a little slower but honestly gorgeous, like a soft white pom-pom. The nice thing about both is they're happy at temperatures that already feel comfortable to you. Roughly normal room temperature works for most beginner species, so if your home feels good to you in a t-shirt, it's probably fine for them. No special heated room, no climate setup needed. What you'll want on hand: a clean spray bottle, your substrate or kit, a reasonably clean spot to work, and patience. That last one's free and the most important. Now, cleanliness. I won't lecture you, but I'll say it plainly. The number one enemy of home mushroom growing is contamination. Mold and bacteria want the exact same cozy, damp setup your mushrooms want. So wash your hands, wipe down your surfaces, and don't poke your growing mushrooms with dirty fingers. That's about 80% of it.
Let's actually grow something. If you're using a kit, your work is mostly done. The block is already colonized, so you just open it where the instructions say, mist it, and wait. If you're starting from spawn, you'll mix that spawn into your substrate. This step is called inoculation, which is a fancy word for introducing the living mycelium to its food. Then comes incubation. You leave it somewhere warmish and darkish, and you wait while the mycelium spreads through the whole thing, slowly turning it white. This usually takes a couple of weeks. It's boring, and boring is good. It means nothing has gone wrong. Once it's fully colonized, you trigger fruiting. You give it fresh air, a bit of light, and high humidity, which usually just means misting once or twice a day. Soon, you'll see tiny pinheads forming. Those are baby mushrooms, and they grow shockingly fast. Watch them by the hour fast near the end. This is where most beginners accidentally ruin everything. They get nervous and overdo it. They mist constantly until the surface is soaking wet, which invites bacteria. Or they seal everything up to protect it, which traps the carbon dioxide. And then you get sad, stringy mushrooms with long stems and tiny caps, basically gasping for air. Fresh air exchange is the single most underrated thing in this whole hobby. Letting the area breathe a few times a day fixes most problems before they start. When do you harvest? Right before the caps fully flatten out. Twist and pull gently or cut at the base. Then, and this surprises people, many kits and blocks will fruit again, a second flush, sometimes a third. Just let it rest, rehydrate it, and wait. Fresh mushrooms keep in a paper bag in the fridge for several days. Paper, not plastic. Plastic traps moisture and they turn slimy on you. Now let me hit you with a few things most beginners never hear. Oyster mushrooms can grow on used coffee grounds, which sounds eco-friendly, and it is, but the contamination risk is way higher than people admit. Coffee grounds are rich and they spoil fast, so they're an easy way to grow a fuzzy green mold instead of dinner. Start with straw or a kit and save the coffee grounds for after you've got one win under your belt. Different oysters like different temperatures too. Blue oysters, for instance, tend to prefer cooler conditions, which makes them great for a chilly garage or a cooler time of year. Match the type to your space instead of fighting your environment. And this sounds wrong, but over-misting is just as harmful as under-misting. People assume more water equals happier mushrooms. It doesn't. They want humid air, not a swamp. This tiny detail changes everything. One more. That mycelium doesn't just sit there politely. In the wild, it can link up whole stands of trees underground, passing nutrients back and forth between them. The thing in your closet is a tiny, tamed piece of that same trick, and I find it genuinely wild every time I think about it. Here's the honest safety part, and please don't skip it. Grow from reputable kits or cultivated spawn. Full stop. Do not gather wild spores or try to cultivate something you found out in the woods. And never, ever eat a mushroom you can't identify with total certainty. The whole point of growing your own is that you know exactly what it is. Don't trade that away to save a few dollars. So that's the real picture. Mushrooms aren't fussy in the ways you'd expect, and they're fussy in ways you wouldn't. Keep it clean, keep the air moving, don't drown them, and be patient while the boring part happens underground. My friend with the grow kit, she's 3 kinds of mushrooms deep now and won't stop talking about it at parties. You start with one little block, you grow something you can put in a pan that same week, and suddenly you're the person explaining mycelium to friends at dinner. Once you've watched fresh mushrooms appear in a few days, the grocery store version never quite looks the same again. If you've been on the fence, just start with one kit. That's it. Grow one batch, cook one meal you made appear out of basically a box and some water, and see how it feels. I think you already know it's gonna feel pretty great. And hey, one small favor before you go. If this video was helpful, drop a quick yes in the comments. It genuinely tells us you want more videos like this one, and that's the thing that keeps us motivated to make them. I'll see you in the next one.